Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda with Metromark Realtors. And this week, we're going to talk to my friend Mandi Briggs. Mandi and I have been friends for a long time. I'm going to click on it where you can see her. Ooh. All right. Hi, Mandi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for talking to me today. So Mandi and I met like almost 20 years ago. How crazy is
That
that?
is crazy when you say that.
Yes, we're getting to be old ladies. I don't know. But anyway, we met and we were kind of totally different people then. We were young in our 20s. I think we first met on the board of Women in Communications.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And then I think we've served on some other volunteer
Hmm.
things in the past. But anyway, we kind of reconnected this summer at a women's conference in Dallas. And Mandi and I have a lot of shared interest. And Mandi is really like using her platform to help other people in Oklahoma City. So right now I'll let you talk in a minute.
You're good.
She's a life coach. She's a yoga instructor. She is the owner of The Collective in Edmond, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And I thought today we could just kind of talk about gratitude and take self-care, taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
especially during this time. So I'll let you say a little.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Mandi, and I think when we met, we were both in the communications industry, and since then, what I love about us is that my life looks completely different now, and yours does too, for various reasons. And it's always interesting with friends when you can go your separate ways, and then like life comes full circle, and we come back around, and now we have so many shared interests again, and doing some similar things. So that's really fun and unique. And I find that with a lot of my friends as we've grown older, how our lives have evolved and still are very similar. So but I'm a life coach and I do yoga. I teach yoga and I am all about intentional living and choosing to be grounded and in this present moment. And right now, with everything we're facing from quarantine and COVID-19, I think it's more important than ever to focus on self care and ensure that you are just lessening your anxieties and managing your stress levels, because that never helps your immunity system.
Checking in with yourself. Let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about morning routines. I know we both have a morning routine, so why don't we talk
Yes.
about it? What's your
Okay. I am a huge fan of meditation. So I get up first thing, grab my coffee. I typically do a devotional and then I meditate. And I can tell you, on the days that I don't sit down for meditation, even if it's 5 minutes or it's 25 minutes, it just throws my whole day off. Do you find that?
Yes, yes. I was talking about that this morning actually because I have a family of five and my kids are really young, so there's a lot of like high energy coming at me early in the morning. So I have to get up early to
Oh,
have
yeah.
myself and to kind of set my intentions for today, the day. I have a little journal that I have that I
Mhm.
write 10 things that I'm grateful for, and then 10 goals I have for myself. And then I kind of set my intentions for today. But then I have time to like pray and reflect over it, and it really helps me. And on days that I miss that, and some child's just coming at me at 6:30 in the morning, mad at his brother, it throws me off big time. And it takes me a long time to recover.
Yeah, I think it's important, whatever your morning routine is, and if you don't have one, to establish one. That's first and foremost. But we all kind of have those keystone habits, the things that set us up for success in the day. And if those aren't happening or they get out of alignment, it can affect your energy that you carry throughout the rest of the day. I'm glad you mentioned journaling though, because that's a huge part of my practice. I This sounds so silly, but I start every morning writing myself a love letter. And it's something I've done for like the last probably 4 to 5 years. And it just reminds me that, one, to speak kindly to myself. Self-talk and your inner dialogue is so important to me. It's one thing that I coach on a lot, is how you speak to yourself, because when you begin by starting your day with treating yourself kindly, then you show up giving that same energy to conversations and people that interact with every day. So I write myself a love letter every day, and it sounds so cheesy, but it's so effective.
That I love that. And to take that forward, you have a little love and gratitude journal that you've created to help other people that's available on
I
Amazon, right?
do. Yep, yep. I was having my clients do it. So I start my mornings talking about routines. I start my mornings writing the love letter to myself with my meditation, and then I end my nights with my gratitude journal. And I do the same thing as you. I look for at least 10 things I'm grateful for. Some days I only find 10, some days I can write 50 or 100 if I just can't stop. And I took that practice and was having my clients do it. So I turned it into a journal that's now available on Amazon so that others can have that practice as well.
I love it. I love that idea. I will order one today. I haven't yet. But I loved when I was like kind of researching it that you put snippets of words that you'd written to yourself in the journal. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think one example was like, you are kind and loving person. But I mean, we do need to remind ourselves that because we're so hard on ourselves, so hard on ourselves.
I have a friend who purchased the journal, and she was telling me after she had done it for about a week or two that she was cooking bacon one night at her house, and bacon grease splattered and hit her in the eye. And she immediately said to herself, "You dummy, you deserved that," because she'd been arguing with her kids earlier that day or whatever it might be. And it brought awareness to the way she was speaking to herself, and she stopped immediately and was like, if my friend were sitting there and bacon grease hit my friend in the eye, I wouldn't be like, you deserve that.
Right.
But we talk so terribly to ourselves, and then we carry that into conversations we have every day.
Mhm. I wonder now that people are, I feel like, more in touch with themselves and things like this. I wonder if like the younger girls growing up will be kinder to themselves or just no way. Like there's no way of knowing. God, they have social
Yeah,
media.
they
Oh,
have social media, and it's so hard. I'm grateful we didn't have that.
so grateful. So grateful. Um, so Simply Mandy is the name of your company.
Yep, yep.
For the life coaching, people can go to simplymandy.com to kind of learn about that. And talk a little about your life coaching.
Yeah. So I work with women every day. A lot of, especially right now, what we're finding with quarantine and the COVID situation is that we're more overwhelmed than we've ever been. And we have a lot of anxieties and a lot of stress. And when we sit in that stress, it can just carry that negativity into different facets of our lives, whether it's marriages or friendships or work or whatever it might be. So I work with women every day to identify what's really at the root of their stress and what's at the root of their overwhelm. Sometimes it's a thought that they never would have anticipated, and we begin to examine those thoughts. We uncover what it is and why they're feeling that way, and then we decide what kind of life do they want to live. We every day have the opportunity to create the life that we desire, and we can build that life just through simple transitions of our thoughts or shifting our perspectives. So I help them do that and then walk with them along their journey as they transform what their life currently looks like into what they want it to be.
I love it. And it's all confidential too. So if people
Yeah,
have a dream in their heart and just need to talk it out with somebody,
yeah,
um, or problems to help work figure out, that's a good way.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
yoga and meditation. Two questions here. One,
Okay.
if you are interested in meditating and don't really know how, like I use the Calm app, what do you recommend to people?
The Calm app is a great one. I always recommend Headspace. That's how I got into meditation. They have like a free 10-day trial. It's so easy. And what I love specifically about Headspace is that it talks to you about what meditation is, and they have these fun little caricatures that come across the screen. But you start with 5 minutes a day and then you can build up. And like I said, some days I still do just 5 minutes because that's all I have time for. And some days I can sit for 40 minutes. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that when you meditate, you have to be still and don't think at all. And what I learned from Headspace is that it isn't about that at all. It's about learning to control your thoughts and not chase them down the rabbit holes like we tend to do, where we let the thoughts snowball and suddenly end up at worst case scenario. So it's a really great app to get you started.
Awesome. I'll download that. And then yoga. You teach yoga. People can see Mandy's yoga schedule on Simply Mandy. But how did you get into yoga and when and
Yeah. So I've been doing yoga for almost 11 years, and I got started when I had a knee injury and couldn't run. So I was running half marathons at the time. So it's really great for recovery and stretching. And I just fell in love with the practice. It started out for me as a really a workout and a way to stretch and stay active whenever I had this injury. And then it became a very spiritual practice for me. And I think we have clients who run the gamut, and they're somewhere along that spectrum. It can be what you make of it, just like with any workout. I have been teaching now for 3 years and absolutely love it. I was certified when I was in Greece and taught all over the world, and then came back and now teach in Edmond.
Awesome. Awesome. I love yoga. I don't do it often,
That's okay.
but I feel like every time I do it, I'm so much more connected. Like even there's something about your hands and feet being on the ground that connects you so much. So awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Your classes.
Yeah, you should. I love, I think that's one reason I love yoga and coaching together, and it fits me so well as a career choice, is that I work with people through yoga and through coaching to bring them back into their bodies. Sometimes we're so caught up in our mind and our thoughts. So it's really just a grounding practice and a centering practice. One thing that we find, especially with the current situation we're in, is we get most stress when we're thinking about the past or when we're thinking about the future. And if you can ground yourself in the present moment, suddenly all of those anxieties and that stress seems to melt away. One thing I love to tell people to do is a really simple practice. It's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you look for 5 things you can see at this moment, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So see, feel, hear, smell, taste. And then when you do those all at the exact same time, you'll realize you're really present, you're really grounded in this moment, and you don't have time to think about what was or what will be. And you're just really calm and collected and present.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. It's a fun one. Give it a try.
Because yeah, things can snowball if you can't figure out a way to bring them in, and that gives you a way
Yes.
to reground. So Mandi and I both share a passion for women, helping women, and you have a new awesome women helping women business that you started this in Edmond. So let's talk about the collective.
Yes. So I purchased the collective in January of this year. I'm so excited about it. I was a member there for a little over a year and was helping Amber manage the space. But it's a co-working space for women entrepreneurs. So, and you don't even have to be an entrepreneur. You can be a freelancer. We have some women who own brick and mortars. We have some who are just gig workers or virtual workers, and they just need an office outside their home. And we're finding right now, especially with this all being holed up in our home offices with the kids home, you just want to get away for a little bit, and it's hard to focus. And one thing our members have found is that keeping home a space for rest and play and family, and then getting outside of that to focus on their work, helps them to be way more productive than when they try to do it all from one space.
Absolutely. I'm a realtor, and a lot of people think that I get to work from home all the time, but I can't work from home. I mean, I am right now during COVID-19, but the kids know I'm here. And so I have an office to go to, but also so many times I will just go to a coffee shop or something. So the collective would be a great place for people to go.
Yeah.
And then you guys offer trainings and have like a very weekly mindset, yada, yada.
Yes. So I think the community is one of the things that really sets us apart. We do biweekly mastermind groups, and I think that's what benefits so well. Whenever I first started my coaching business, I had all of my friends, but they worked 9-to-5 jobs. And so whenever I would talk about things I was facing in my business, they didn't understand it, and we weren't on the same playing field. And that's one thing that the collective offers is we meet biweekly to strategize and celebrate your business. And so when you're surrounded by other entrepreneurs, you are in it together and you can bounce ideas off of each other, brainstorm, and it's really helped our members grow their business and be strategic about how they spend their time.
Right. Awesome. And then you offer to the public, you have a few retreats, right? And then some online classes that people can take.
Yep. They can find out all about that online. Right now, we don't have any retreats scheduled just because of everything that's going on. So there will be more information to come, but we love to do in-person events as well.
Awesome. And it's all very affordable. So you can find out all that information online as well. Okay. So I bet that we read a lot of the same, not self-help.
I love, so
books, right?
Yeah, Commonplace calls it intentional living, and I love that. I'm like, yes, Commonplace, intentional living.
Okay, so let's back and forth a couple of books we like for other people that are maybe interested in hearing.
Okay.
John Maxwell and his books on leadership.
Yes, I just finished, I think it's the 15 Laws of Growth.
Mhm.
So good.
What are
Love
you?
it. Right now, I'm actually reading A Course in Miracles, and I'm reading The Road Back to You about the Enneagram. That's been really beneficial to learn to communicate with others.
Yeah, I love that. I am reading Get Out of Your Own Way, and I just downloaded You're a Badass because that's been on my list for a while.
I've read that one 3 times.
Awesome. What are some of your other faves?
I love The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's such a great one about kind of taking a leap of faith and getting out of your own way. I'm a big self-sabotager, so that one resonated with me. Daring Greatly, Brene Brown. She's another favorite author of mine.
And her podcast is great too. But
Yeah.
Brene Brown,
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
and what's so cool about Brene is it's all like based on statistics. It's
Yes.
just out there. I recently read The Power of Habits. Have you read that one?
Oh, I have not.
Good one. It's by Charles. I don't know, Charles somebody. I can't remember.
The Power of Habits.
Yes, Power of Habits. That's good. And Jen
Okay.
Heiser, I like.
So
She has
good.
a new
Yes.
book coming out that I'm excited to read. What are some of your favorite podcasts?
Oh, Brene Brown's is a big one. Martha Beck is the woman who trained me, and she has a new podcast out called Bewilderment, something like that. Loved it. And I'm a big fan of Craig Rochelle's leadership podcast. Have you listened to it at all?
No, I'll add it to my
Yeah.
suggestions. I have The Gold Digger. I still like the Soul Sunday
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes. I am a huge Super Soul Sunday podcast.
Yeah, they're so good, right? I have to forever
Really good.
finish them. I'm like, Danny needs to stay an hour longer. I got to finish this podcast. Sorry. Happier with Gretchen Rubin. I like all of her stuff too.
Okay. Do you listen to any Marie Forleo stuff?
No.
I'm a big fan of hers too, especially from an entrepreneur perspective. She's great.
We'll have to share a list. And
Yeah.
all right. Well, anything else you can think of? Any advice for people right now at home with kids, worried about money and work and COVID-19?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice, and it's so simple, you think it doesn't work, but literally just take 3 really deep breaths. And I do this all the time in my yoga classes, but when you take 3 deep breaths, it will change the chemical reaction happening in your brain and help calm that anxiety and calm those fears so that you can respond to your children who are needing your attention or your clients that you're working with or your husband from a much calmer, healthier space. So that's my advice to anyone. When you feel overwhelmed or anxious or you've got all the things coming at you, just pause and allow yourself 3 really deep breaths and then respond.
3 deep breaths. I like it. We need probably lots of 3 deep breaths around here.
6 or 10, that's fine.
Well, thank you for talking to me. And
You're welcome.
do it again sometime.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too. See you later.
Bye.